Hello and welcome to the actual episode 7 of DTRX, and in this video we're going to be fitting the fixings along the top of the wings to the inner wings, down the back edge. Hopefully if we get time, take the front off and then start stripping the front end out, ready for a bit of paint under the arches, just to neaten her up. Hope you enjoy it. So we just want to run a few fixings down through here is our end goal. Now I've already drilled a hole through the top of that, so that's roughly where that one's got to sit. It's actually the original fixing hole. And then we've got to figure out something down the back edge. This has got a couple in it anyway. I might actually bang one just in there, just so we're ready for that as well. Know where that is. And here could be a little bit tricky. I mean, we've got a hole there already where it's been fitted like that before. Just want to make sure that door lines up to a point. I'll put our top fixing in. Through that. Do the same the other side. Oh, forget that they haven't bolted the door. That's always a good idea. There's one-ish. I think that's actually holding anything. I'll leave them in there. That's that one now. And then just one this side. We will have two in the front there eventually. So we have two there. The row of 13s up the front here, so 6 bolts under the bonnet, and then 2 at the back edge, and probably something at the bottom. I don't know yet. I haven't figured that out. It doesn't weigh a great deal, so we should be all right. Straighten the wheels. And there we are. We're back where we started again. What happened there? Gone backwards. But no, we've got a bit of sorting out to do now. Now I know that that is the one there that we need. That is the one there. I can't actually get to it because it's in the box section, so that's handy. Just got to tidy these little bits up. Bit of welding down in here, just neaten that up. Same again there. Just so that when it does go back together, it's not going to fall off. Yeah, bit to fiddle with. Let's get on with it. So we're going to drill out our new holes to 8mm. I've just got these nuts to weld in it, with a little bit of a washer on them. The only thing is, where they sit, I'm going to have to get a little bit creative here, just to actually get them in there. But I'll figure that out. We've got our front on the floor. There's our holes that we want to use. Just going to drill them out. So we're going to attack this area here now. And what I'm going to do is clean it all up, get all that sealer out of the way, back to bare metal. And then I'm probably going to bore a hole through the side here maybe. I don't know yet. I might just actually drill a hole in there, right where that is, bore it out, weld a nut to the back of it, and then weld it back in again. It's not going to be entirely pretty because I've got an 1.5 inch hole saw. I'm going to have to go over one way with it. It's going to try and jump a little bit as I drill it. But that'll work. I might actually just fold that up. Fold it up, clean the back up, get a weld on the back there with our nut on it. That. Now I'm going to have to grind off the back because that's where the old clip was for the screw that run through. So I'll clean that up. Use that to hold that in place, and then I'm just going to tack along the top, tack along the bottom, whip that out, fold that over, weld it back down. And I know what everyone's going to say, why don't you just use a rev nut? I haven't got a rev nut tool, so that's what it's getting. Back into its position. Of salts. It's very near enough, but I need to just pull that forward a bit. Just got that little piece there to do now. I'll put the earth back on. And weld the end of the welder up, just for fun. That's always useful. And just for good measure, check that it goes all the way down, and then it comes all the way out nicely, which it does. This one's going to be a little bit more tricky because it comes over the hedge a little bit here, so I'm not quite sure. I might nick a bit out of here, sort of cut an angle out, shape it on a bench, weld our little nut in so that it pokes over the side a little bit, and then make a little dome out here. I don't know. It's going to be very similar to the other side. We're in a very similar position, so it would look nice and neat. I might just have a little tap along this edge just to tidy that up first. So I haven't actually got any dollies at the moment, so we're just working with what we got a little bit. Prying it off and then weld a little bit in there. So just going to clean that bit up. So that's what we got. I've just made 2 cuts down there so that our nut fits in there, and then we can put our bolt through there, hold that, weld it to the car, cut this, and then make 2 strip plates down so that I've got clearance for the bolt either side, and with it in there as well, it shouldn't move around too much. That's all you need, just a tiny little weld like that. That'll grab the nut, trust me, it's not going to come off. And then we'll go onto this side, do the same again. Always make sure you put your earth on, otherwise it makes welding very difficult. So I made a plan for a little box shape. It's going to look something like that. So that's the bit we want to keep. That's a fold up, that's a fold round, that's a fold round. Just going to go and make that. And as if by magic, this appeared. So that's now ready to go into our little piece here. Just to house our extra little bit of fixing. That'll be nice and neat in there. So I'm just going to get some gloves. I'm going to throw it on the floor, lose it, and then make another one and then get some gloves. And I can weld that in. So I'm going to use a cut brush now to get rid of all this sealer off of here. I'm deciding I'm going to finish one area at a time because I don't want to be welding too much because I've not got much longer in here today. I'm back out here tomorrow though, so that will be in this same video, compacted into one. Hoping to get quite a bit done, but obviously this is time consuming, all this stuff, so it takes a little while. We're going to clean up all these edges around here, around there. I've got a little bit of rock to sort out back here where that bottom fixing is going to be on the wing. Front bit, we're going to have to get it all bolted onto these bits first, obviously do the other side, and then figure out exactly where that front is going to sit in terms of where that bolt is. There is a possibility I might even weld a plate under it because it's a bit nasty up the front there. I'm going to use a cut brush now on one of these. If you ever used one of these before, be careful of your face because they do like taking your face off. They're very noisy, so I will speed it up and quieten it down for you. But I need to get this area here stripped right off. We've managed to fill the garage completely with smoke from the sealer. Here's our inner wing up to here done. There's our crusty bit on the corner there. You see where it's had some action and a few different holes drilled in it. And all of that. And there's our bit of race damage. Still got a bit of a crease down there and through there we need to sort out. So I'm just going to make a little piece to go in this section here now. I'm probably going to cut it back here, straight down that edge, and then weld a piece in that comes out a little bit wider, just so I can pick up probably 2 fixings in the front here. I've looked at it on there and we've just missed the edge of the front panel, and I want that bolted down, so I'm going to come across slightly, like I say, just get a little plate welded in there. That will neaten this right up, and then we'll weld some of these holes up. So we've got to try and remove some of this stuff from in here. So we've got a little 10 mils holding this on. Now there. I didn't want to get too involved under the bonnet, just simply because I want to test it really before I commit to using that engine. I mean, there are other options available, but I wanted to give it a whirl first. I didn't want to go steaming in, change everything, and actually you've got a car that will nearly work anyway. So I think we'll stick to that plan. I'm just going to tidy up around the edges, so we'll neaten up this area here. I want to get some welds up in here, just the turret top, and maybe around the base there. I don't know, depends how keen I get. But that out of there anyway. That's off of there. We'll be able to get that right out of the way. one bit off. Things are a little bit strange on this. I'm pretty sure that's like brake cooling duct or something in there. And judging by the state of the outside of it, I'm guessing it's all broken up on the inside too. Right, that's off of there. That'll come out now. Not. Yeah, I'm not a great fan of that. It's got all sorts of holes in it and that's just rubbish. That's not really the thing for the job. It's just a tack screw in there, holding that together. I'm guessing that's a little bolt. Yeah, it is. Nice. Oops. So we've got the longest bolt in the world and loads of nuts to space that out. That's pro, that is. Right. So that's been eaten through that live cable. It's always good to see. That live cable runs around and wraps to the back of the water pipe down here along the front of the block. Take that out. I reckon that's been screwed in for a good reason, and I think that's so you can access underneath this panel here. So actually that might be how it stays. I just might neaten it up a little bit. Is that a piece of Play-Doh? Green silicone. Nice. Hammer time. I'm just going to knock along here just to get this bit. So there's one I found earlier. Let's get that welded. Just going to grind all that back now. So this is what we have now. We've got a nice little tab which we need to mark holes in, and then we'll weld nuts to the bottom. That's our inner wing, all the holes tidied up. It's our little bracket bit that we made for the bolt to sit in. That's our bit up there. Obviously I'll grind that bit off when I can get to it a bit better, but that works. That horrible bit there. We'll get rid of that, make a new piece to fit in there. So that's that bit welded in. We put our little patch in here. I'm just going to clean up this area here. It's a bit rotty this side, so I'm going to have to put a bit of a plate in there first, and then I'm going to drill it out and put the nut in. Set fires on my foot. So here's just so happens to be perfectly sized shaped plate with a hole in that I've found in the corner. Just going to weld that in now. What I'm going to do is Pop that in situ. I want to put some weld through primer on here. I'm just going to weld that edge. I'm not going to bother plug welding it. I'm just going to put a line of MIG along there. That's going to be good enough. There's plenty of strength there anyway. So I'm so lucky with plates today. I've managed to find this and it fits in this hole perfectly. So I reckon we'll use that, you know. That's going to save us a lot of time. I just found this as well. It will fit into there, like so. I'm going to try and single-handedly lift that over, get it into some sort of position so I can try everything back on. It's not heavy, it's just very awkward. So this could be fun. Two of them full so far. That side's nearly on. Oh, hello. So I've got to take our screws out of here now. I'm just going to shut that door. We take our screws out of there and we'll need them to put a rough position on there for our wing bolt. Now I've been thinking about this and I don't know whether I want to run two at the front, so I might just utilise one bolt just a bit further in. That's something I need to think about. If that's the case, I'll just weld this one up and it'll mean that the front panel's plugged to the wing nicely anyway. I don't know whether it needs two. If you've been watching the videos, you'll notice that I do change my mind quite regularly, and then we'll just go whatever's easiest at the time. We'll flip that out of there for now. That out there. And then hopefully go back up into some sort of position. Into here. Like that. And start getting some bolts in it. So I've also done it like this, so that if for whatever reason we go to a fiberglass front later on, which is on the cards, then we've got some good fixings. We could put some nice big washers and it'll really clamp it down. Because with fiberglass you need a bit more to hold it together. It's a bit floppy and weird. I might actually, these holes are drilled out to 8mm. I might go a little bit more with them, maybe to a 9mm, just to give us that little bit of wiggle room, because it is going to be a bit tight. That one's already big. Them I'm not going to leave. Try that again. That'll go into there. And that one will go into there. Throw our bond in, just make sure that that's the arm still. Which it doesn't, because the tank's in the way. Yep. And most definitely, yeah. There we go then. That's a job well done. It fits that door nice, but have a little bit of play around the other side to get this one to fit. So I don't know where it's going to fit. Right, ladies and gents, that brings us to an end of this week's video. Now we've got our fixings done along the top edge of the wings, happy with that, and down the back edge, and they sort of fit, which is good. All the bolts will go in the front, all the bolts will go through the top, all the bolts will go through the side now. We've had a little play around with that one. But that's really good progress. So obviously before it was just laid on with a few tech screws, now it's actually bolted in position. It has made the door gap a lot better that side, which I'm not happy with. And also, I can probably pull that door out to meet that wing and make it look really nice anyway, because I reckon it is punted in a little bit. Same again with this side. I haven't had the door on bolted up, so it could probably get a lot better. I need to have a little bit of a play around with the front end next time, in the next video. In terms of, I want to get some holes drilled in the front, figure out some lower fixings, and then we will take the front back off, and this time it will be off for a little while, so I'll probably rest it on the roof somewhere or something. We'll strip the front end right out in terms of suspension, and we'll clean off the wheel arches and expose them back to bare metal. Tidy up any bits that we need tidying up. I think there's a plate up the top of the wing here, or inner wing here, that needs dealing with. I might cut it out and just flush a nice little bit in. We've also got to strip all that off underneath, do some seam welding. Only minor, nothing like major. We're not massively strengthening the shell. It's got cage in it anyway. It's quite solid, but just through this bulkhead area is a little bit weaker than it used to be. So we're just repairing that more than making it better. We'll strip all the suspension out, paint under the arches. Hopefully next week I'll get time to do that. If not, it will be on the video after that. And then we can start assembling the front of the car. I'll try and get some shock absorbers at the ready. We'll paint all the lower arms and all the bits and bobs, so when it all goes back together it's all nice and it doesn't have to come apart. And we'll have a little bit of a tidy up under the engine bay. And then we'll pull the car forward, strip out the rear suspension, and then get started on making our rear suspension design, which I think I've made a decision on. We know where we're going with it. Or I know. Well, I don't really know. anyway, we're doing the rear suspension at that point there. So we've got a couple of episodes of tidying up and bits and bobs, maybe a little bit of paint, and then fabrication station for the rear end. I'm looking forward to that bit. That's going to be really cool. But this is really cool. It's great to see the progress, and it is great to see this front end back on the car and with its arches on. It's not quite the level it's going to sit, so it looks a bit like a space hopper at the moment. It will sit a bit lower than that. But yeah, that brings us to an end. So thanks for watching. If you managed to get this far, please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to see weekly content on the car, and hopefully we'll be getting nearer and nearer. We might be doing a track day at some point this year if we actually get the suspension bits done. I'll leave all the wiring loom until after track day, because I just want to see how the engine runs, how it goes with that CVH in it, and mainly sort out the handling with an engine that we know is going to work. Do we go crossflow? I don't know. Probably going to stick with CVH for now. And if we move into the bigger classes, I think we'll maybe leave Ford well alone and go something different. But we'll see. That's all things for the future. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.